Looking at this, I would suppose, again, let's take a look at the constraints. We have num.length again being a very huge number. In this case, the number in the array itself can be a very large number in itself, and k obviously will be in the range of 1 and the number of unique elements in the entire array. So yeah, number of unique elements in the entire array. So if there are 5 different elements in the array, I can get the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Yeah, that's self-explanatory and quite commonsensical. So we're looking at the fact that it is guaranteed that the answer is unique. So we may return the answer in any order. K most frequent elements. So 1 and 2. So in this case, I can return 2 and 1 at the same time. I can return 2 because it's the most frequent element as well, and 2 and 1 I suppose 2 and 1 is the correct answer. So okay. So looking at this question, now I'm going into it absolutely blind. No idea what to expect of this question, but we have to think about it in terms of obviously one of the first things that comes to mind is to use a hash map. If we are not to use a hash map, I would suppose that if we don't use a hash map, so if we just quickly run through this, we want to loop through the entire array, add elements visited to a hash map. So you have 1 that comes to 3, 2 that comes to 2, and then 3 that comes to 1. So the number of occurrences, you update the key and edit accordingly. And once we want to return the answer, we will have to just simply return the topmost frequent elements. So we will in this case, we are probably going to have to look at the hash map, and then so the question here is, how do we get the top k most frequent elements from hash map? We need to loop through it, right? And in this case, it is just simply transforming the data structure and then perhaps looping through the entire array of on time, and then checking through so firstly I will have to look at this 3, 2, 1, take the values of all the arrays, all the values. So this is 3, all the keys, all the values. We have to check the values of 3, 2, and 1, and the largest values will be coming up first, followed by the second largest value, third largest value. And in this case, since we can return the answer in any order, it's probably not the best way to solve this, because we will need to, let's say there was a way, if there was a way to sort, right? So top k most frequent. Okay, maybe sorting is another thing, right? So this is the first one. We have the first solution. The second solution is to sort the array. not n time, and n is a huge number. Once we have the array in sorted form, we will still need to do this. So sorting the array is definitely not one of the solutions, I would think. I have a feeling that this question utilizes a min or max heap in this case. So we need to loop through this entire Can we use a min heap or max heap? How would we utilize a min or max heap in this case, right? How would we utilize a min or max heap? We want to loop through the entire array at visited. How do we get the top k most frequent hash map? Nums equals 1, k equals 1. Okay, let's just carry on with this solution. So if we have this visited array, right, we want to have inverse visited. So what we actually want in this case is something like 3, 1, 2, 2, and 1, 3. The reason why we want this to be in this order is because we want to have the number of visited versus the number itself. So when we have this case, we can then return the k most frequent elements. We can then return 3, 2, and 1. So the k from this order, from the array. So how can we sort an array by this? This will be in O(n) time, right? Once you add everything in this into this O(n) space, and then you have this entire thing here, we want to be able to retrieve the values. We want to be able to retrieve the values here, so we need to take the values from each key. 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1. If we loop through entire hash map and we get the values 3, 2, and 1, 3, 2, and 1, we need to loop through 3, 2, and 1. 3 as a value should be the highest value. Let's say we have 2. I don't think this should be the solution. This is the solution. This doesn't seem like it would work because somehow or another it doesn't feel right, and also at the same time we have to look at this solution 1, 3, 2, 2, and yeah, what's the issue here? 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, and we have let's say we initialize this thing called a min heap, right? And then a min heap property will be at the top insertion. Let's check min heap insertion. insertion will be O log n, right? For insertion, deletion will be O log n. Insertion should be O1, right? Right. Okay, so if we have a heap, if we use a heap here, we can use a heap solution. What we want here is to queue the largest character. So if every heap insertion time complexity is O log n, O1, right? So it's a pretty fast insertion. Deletion. Log n operations. I need to revise my heaps. But if I have a minimum heap, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, I will initialize my minimum heap to have these values here. Wait, going back to this solution, we probably could sort the hash map by its values, right? And then we sort the hash map by its values, and we get a list like this. No, we cannot reverse the keys and values because there might be yeah, the thing is that there might be situations whereby the element appears the same number of times, right? So in this case, if I have 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, the answer can be either 1 and k equals 2, right? We can have the answer as 1 or 2 or 2 and 1 because both of them appear twice. So in this case, if I were to reverse this situation, reverse this hash map, my values will not be unique enough to form keys. So reversing the hash maps out of the question. But if I were not to reverse the hash map, I probably have to look through the values in the top frequent values. Each time I want to find the value, I need to look through the hash map once, find again, look through the hash map again, and then look through the hash map again. So in that case, that is a very inefficient algorithm. I have to find somehow another sort the array in. Sort. Can we sort the hash map by its values? Then return the top k values, right? I think this would work. Okay. Yep, this probably will work to a certain extent if we sort the top k values. And since we have 13, we're already 14 minutes in. Let's try to think quickly. Return the top k values. Okay, I think this should. However, if I use a heap, how would I use a heap? I have a heap, then sticking in operations. I want to remove return. Of size. Can I initialize a heap of size k? What will happen if I initialize a heap of size k? Tell me more about the heap of size k. Here we have yes, if we have a heap of size k, insert each value into the heap, right? If we have heap of size k, we insert each value into the heap. So initially the heap would be something like this. So if you have k equals 2, your heap will be size 2, right? Then you come into 1. You have 1 here. The smallest element of a heap is the smallest element of a heap. Smallest, we need to find the smallest. I don't think this will work because this is finding the smallest element in the heap. So we need in this case, I'm not finding the smallest element in the heap, but I'm finding the most frequent element in the heap. I'm not finding the smallest, but I'm finding the most frequent. Right? Maybe I can use a max heap here and combine my two solutions together. So if I have a max heap here, then I want to insert each value of the hash map into the heap. So in this case, when I come here, I have this heap. Let's forget about this. Let's look at this. So if my visited array would be something like this, and then we want to take the visited value, so we have 3 and we want to add it into the heap, and we insert, and once we are done with inserting all the values into a heap, we will return the top 2 values of the heap. Yep, I think this should be it.